Let's check our audio. Excuse me. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Okay, sounds good. Hey, Tom is here. What's up, Tom? Thanks for saying hi. Appreciate you being here. Just getting our indoor putting practice session started. And, you know, even before I start hitting some putts, I am going to stretch a little because it definitely does become a little bit taxing. When we're hitting all these putts. Hope you're having a good Tuesday, Tom. Oh, it's a great day to have a good day. I messed that up. It's a great day to have a great day. What did we do today? We did some work, had some meetings, did some therapy. That was good. Therapy is very interesting because you never exactly know how the hour is going to go. What sort of topics might come up or different things could become pertinent.
Do you know what I'm looking for?
I think so.
Oh, you're pointing to the other room.
Yeah.
I thought you were pointing to the shelf, and I thought maybe I was looking for it.
Hey, Benny's here. What's up, Benny? Thanks for saying hi. Tom's got to go to sleep, right? It's late in Ireland. It's always...
President in Ireland yet?
Oh, I don't know. Been really working hard recently, guys, on a lot of rotational work. Hi, superstar. Everyone say hi to Miss Lily, making an appearance on the stream. Hello. Hello. Yeah, we were just outside. We've been doing lots of wrestling and playing today, right? Yeah, it's a good day to be a pup in this house. Had some treats. She says, Dad, I've seen enough. I'm off to go somewhere else. I think we're going to get back on the golf course hopefully tomorrow, guys. Really good start. Always nice when that first putt of the day goes right through. What else did we do today? Oh, I did some DIY home repairs. A little bit of sheetrock work. You might watch this and say, John, but you've got such dainty hands. Well, we put them to good use every once in a while. Hey, Cammy's here. What's up, Cammy? What time is it in America? My part of America, it is nearly 5 o'clock, 4:45 in the evening. Most people, you know, starting to wrap up work, get heading home for dinner time. I'm cooking Italian tonight, guys. Meatballs and pasta. Pretty excited about that. Did tacos last night. I like cooking at home. It's been a really fun skill to develop. Just learning different combinations of things that work well. Plus, at the end of it, you get to eat something yummy, which is never a bad thing. Boom. 3:46. There you go. What time will the stream start tomorrow? Great question, Tom. It does seem like we've reached kind of a critical mass where having some sort of schedule or regularity to the streams would be helpful for people. The problem is that I don't have a particularly regular schedule. But I think what we probably could do would be, say, an afternoon, maybe start around 3 o'clock and just have the time booked and know that there's going to be a stream from, call it 3 to 5 p.m., 5 days a week. I can't promise that we'll deliver on 5 days a week, but it would be nice to be able to plan ahead, right? Hey, Pig Fans here. Hope you're doing okay, my guy. I know you've had a lot of hard things going on in your life to manage, so grateful that you can take a break and come hang out on the stream with us. Oh, just barely missed it on that top right side. Tried the paddle drill today. Felt pretty weird at first, but managed to make contact with the ball most of the time. Is it normal that the ball doesn't go far using this drill? Yes, you're not trying to generate a ton of speed, Cammy, when you're doing that drill, right? The paddle drill is about sequencing and making sure that we're not going, applying too much right hand and going this way over the top, right? We're trying to make sure that that club works and stays connected. But no, you're totally, if I was doing the drill with an 8-iron at the driving range, I wouldn't be trying to hit it more than 30 yards, right? It's more about teaching your body the motor pattern and graining it at slow speed, and then adding in, the contact with the golf ball. Hey, Joshua's here. Hope you're doing well, my dude. Benny says, I love your putting work. Can't wait to get my putting mat and training aids. Very cool, Benny. I'm excited to hear how it goes for you. It's been a game changer for me this year. I've never made more short putts, putts inside of 10 feet than I have since we've implemented this indoor putting practice regimen. And it's really about confidence, right? I just have put in the time. I've done the reps to know that it's not going to be 100% of the time, right? Nobody is. But with a high degree of certainty, greater than 90%, I know that I've built a stroke and gotten my skill level to where that ball is going to start where I aim it very, very consistently. Hi, buddy. 2 superstars at once. Say hi to the people. Mr. Loki and Miss Lily coming to say hi. Hi, Miss Lady. What are you being crazy for? Huh? What? Are you going to burp? Oh, that's good. Sit. And you want to see the people? Tell the people what you do. Sit. Good. Paw. Paw. Good. Touch. Good girl. You want to try too, Loki? Paw. Good boy. Touch. Good. Speak. Speak. Good boy, Paw. Good job. That's a good guy. That's a good guy. Yeah. Oh, you want to do a hug? Oh, no, Dad. I'm going to give kisses. No. You silly man. They say, what about me, though? There's enough attention for both of you, but this isn't going to help our practice. I have a putting mat. It's good, says Tom. Amazing. DF3 has taken me some time to adjust to, Steven says. Yeah, it definitely did for me as well, especially on longer putts. I think it took me the longest to get those lag putts dialed in, but now that I have had it for maybe, it's probably been 3 months now. It is, I think, the best putter I've ever used. I also think some of that is the combination of me putting in more time in practice than I ever have on my putting. Of course, these things are going to go hand in hand, but it's just this kind of nicely upwardly spiraling confidence cycle, right? I putt well, you know, so I get excited to practice more. I practice more, so I keep putting well, that sort of thing. Elite dog training skills. Oh, I don't know about elite, but, you know, well, give them at least like a B. They're pretty good. That's what you call a good dog. Yeah. It was short knee knockers for me. Got it. I'll have to check out your new short, Joshua. I will go check it out. Thanks for being here, my dude. One thing I also am trying really hard when I'm on the golf course is to be extremely disciplined with my routine. So I go through the same process every single time I go to hit a putt. And that really makes it easier to accept the outcome, whether the putt goes in or not. If I feel like I've committed to my routine and gone through the process, I know that I've given myself the best chance to execute, and I can't control whether the ball goes in the hole or not, right? There could be a big gust of wind. It could hit a little imperfection in the green. All kinds of things can happen. But if I do what I can and control what I can control, that's going to really help me mentally to accept the outcome, right? Which is so important. Tom says, what is the other club behind your golf bag? This guy? This is another putter. We've also got, so this is a 3-iron, a 4-iron, and a 2-iron. And some alignment sticks. That's what we've got. This is Roger Goodell depicted as a clown, because he is. TaylorMade Den Caddy. Got a bunch of exercise equipment in there at the moment. Got some kettlebells and one of those ab rollers. I like those. Right? Definitely need our core to be strong for golf swing. The ball drill was very difficult trying to keep the ball between my arms at the top of my backswing. I appreciate the help. I feel more confident in my swing after practicing your tips. That is incredibly great feedback, Cami. And don't be afraid to continue engaging and asking more questions, or we can talk about more drills and stuff as you continue progressing as a golfer. I've had a few people ask about one-on-one coaching. Is that a thing that any of you guys would be interested in? It wouldn't be very expensive, right? I'm not a PGA professional. You know, it would certainly cost something, right, for the time and effort that I would put into, you know, like a lesson plan and reviewing your swing, that sort of stuff. But if there's interest in that, we can definitely explore a way to do that. Mallet or blade head for a putter? Good question, DJ. I think it really depends on personal preference. I've been a mallet guy for some time. Although, unfortunately it's out in the car, but I do have a very cool 2003 Scotty Cameron blade putter. That's a Newport Beach sound slot model. I break that out once or twice a year when I really need to, just look down at something different or switch up the vibes on the greens. But for the most part, I go for the mallet simply because they're more forgiving, especially if you don't strike the center of the putter every single time. Tom says, I would, but I live in Ireland. Oh, I think we could do virtual lessons from anywhere, to be honest. Like, we would just need, a couple videos of your swing and a couple sentences on what you're working on or trying to improve on, what's holding you back as a golfer currently and what your goals are. Do 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 do. Keep up the good work. Thanks very much, Bruce. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for saying hi. Tell you what, guys, I may not drink alcohol anymore, but I drink a ton of these seltzer waters. I don't think you're supposed to drink as many as I do. I probably drink 3 or 4 of these a day, maybe more sometimes. But just, it hits different. It just does. Wow, also unexpectedly, look at me having a well-coordinated outfit today. Do. Very excited for you guys to see a bunch of the content that's going to be coming out on the channel soon. We've got some more matches. I played another. It was we're both the same handicap. We're both 1 handicap, so I played a 9-hole match against my buddy Joe, who you've seen on the channel before. That's going to be coming out soon. And then on the back 9, we played a scramble and took it pretty deep, honestly, for a 2-man scramble in 9 holes. So excited for you guys to see some of that longer form content. I'm going to be trying to do more and more of that. Let's go. Very consistently starting the ball on our intended line. Boom. What is your favorite drink? Great question. I think it's the lime seltzer, to be honest with you. Other than just good old-fashioned water, I drink plenty of that as well. Let's go. How much would the lessons cost? I don't know. I would think probably like $80. Right? That's like half or a little less than half of what a lesson with a pro costs now. At least here, you're looking at probably $200 for a lesson with a PGA Pro. Yes, the ones from Costco are so gas. Well said, Benny. $80 is cheap. Well, I think I would rather start lower and feel like I was providing some value to people. And if it really takes off, then we can reevaluate. But yeah, it's something I really enjoy doing, evaluating swings and providing feedback, coming up with lesson plans and, really explaining which drills are for what, and you know what we're working on. Is your technique the same with your irons 9 to 3, or does it slightly change? Great question, Bruce. It definitely changes a bit, mostly as it relates to the longer irons. Although I'll also tell you that the longest iron I play is a 5 iron. I think most players, right, amateur or otherwise, are going away from hitting, you know, 2, 3, 4, even 5 irons sometimes, because we just know that, you know, hybrids and 7 woods are going to be easier to play as courses continue to get firmer and faster. But in brief, Bruce, with the longer irons, the ball is going to get, you know, maybe half a ball or a ball further forward in your stance. And I find it important with the longer irons to really focus on tempo, right? It's a longer club. It's a longer swing. So you really got to focus on a nice, balanced, smooth swing, because contact is at a premium with those longer irons, right? You can get away with hitting a 9 iron, you know, a little bit out on the heel or the toe, but with a 3 iron, you're going to be severely penalized. My favorite drink is a McDonald's Sprite. Good choice, Tom. Who is in the photo left? It looks interesting. Oh, this guy? That's Roger Goodell. Wearing a clown nose. Golf is gay. Well, I personally think it's totally fine to be gay. So, good try, Grant. Same, because I have a 7-wood. It's my favorite club. Me too. I also have a 7-wood. I still think driver most days is my favorite club. But that 7-wood, I don't know if anybody heard Tommy Fleetwood talking about his 7-wood in a video recently, and he was like, it's like having a 230-yard pitching wedge. And it sometimes does feel that easy, right? You just hit these really high, straight shots. So, it's very interesting to see lots and lots of pros going to 7-woods and even 9-woods. Just trying to make the game as easy as you can, all right? It's hard enough. Why make it harder? Try 1-length irons if you're learning. It's a really helpful system. I've never tried them, Aloha, but I'm glad that you shared your perspective. Hey, Moto King is here. What's up, Moto King? I wonder King Grant is James from yesterday. I do feel pretty fortunate that for how much content I've put out, the vast majority of the comments and engagement is very positive. And I think some of that is a function of, number one, that's the vibe that I try to put out. So I think that sort of is what attracts, you know, like attracts like. And I also just have such little tolerance for the negativity, and, you know, you only have to block somebody once, right? Classic Barstool Clown Nose Roger Goodell. Exactly, JG. Nailed it. We have great people here. Totally agree, Moto King. Tom says, you are Tommy Fleetwood, no? The amount of times, the amount of comments that I've gotten about being a doppelganger of Tommy Fleetwood is, I should make a video about it or something and just tally up how many comments it really is at this point. I have this crazy idea about, you know, Tommy Fleetwood, like, seeing a video that I'm in or becoming aware of the fact there's a YouTube golfer who looks just like him, and having the opportunity to film some content with him as a result. Oh, look at that. We've just grazed that left ball bearing to the point where it was inaudible even. Golf is a lazy, friendly sport. Well, it definitely can be friendly. I don't know about lazy, though. I work pretty hard at it. Requires a great deal of skill and athletic ability. Does Bryson still use same length clubs? Yes, he does. Cammy says, I'm obsessed with this game right now, and I love it. Me too, Cammy. Me too. I'm going on, oh, I don't know, 20 years of being in love with golf. It doesn't always love you back, which is okay. That's something that you have to learn about golf. But it's always there for us. Boom. Like shooting free throws, guys. We're just in the gym, putting in the reps. Rolling these putts. I agree, Tom. Hey, Kaneko, what's up, my guy? I think Bryson uses ping one length irons now. Cobra dropped him when he went to live. I think he's using those Avoda irons, actually, guys. Well, I don't know about this current moment, but he's been testing a lot of the curved face Avoda 3D printed irons. Last I saw. Quick plug for Tej, the equipment junkie, on Instagram and on YouTube, I think. He does really, really in-depth, detailed equipment reviews and analysis and tracking of what the pros are playing and testing. I'm very jealous. He gets all kinds of custom putters and clubs sent to him to try. Just shows you how powerful this social media thing can be, right? When you build a following and you have a really insightful approach to a specific topic. That's me all the time with those comments. I play Wii Golf every once in a while. Wii Golf is great. I loved playing Wii Golf as a child. I have two brothers, and we would play some heated games of Wii Golf. No. I kind of knew that was a bad stroke. All right. All right, back on track. There we go. Drop a like on the video, guys, if you're enjoying hanging out, watching some putts go in the hole. The Avoda bulge ones, I think. What is the best drill to get better at putting? Well, Tyler, it depends on which part of putting you're working on. For short putts, right, I like to distinguish between short putts and approach putts. So let's kind of call it everything, inside of a 10-foot circle. And then everything else, right? Everything else, our goal is to two-putt. So speed control should be about 90% of our focus. So with that in mind, while I'm working here on short putts, what I really care about is being able to start my ball on my intended line. And that's why I have this station set up here with the Pels Tutor to train that skill. Right? I also have the well stroke mat underneath that for feedback on the stroke. And that gives me some guardrails for, mechanically training the stroke. So this is a really, really great setup for short putts and practicing that skill. For approach putts, you're going to want to work on your distance control. So what I do is I set up a station with some tees. And on one side, I'll have a tee every 1 foot. 4 tees, right? So, the place you're starting from, then 1 foot, 2 feet, and 3 feet. And from the other side, you'll have markers at 5, 10, 20, and 30 feet. And you'll start at that 5-foot marker or tee in the green, on the green. And your objective from 5 to 10 feet is to be able to roll your ball past that first tee and stop it before the second tee. So you have a 1-foot zone that you're practicing rolling your ball into. Once you can do that successfully from 10 to 20 feet, you get that second foot. So you have that 2-foot zone and you're practicing rolling your ball into that zone. And you're going to take about a step or two back every single time you do it successfully until you work your way all the way to the end. And like I said, from 20 to 30 feet, you'll get that additional foot, so that 3 feet of cushion or, you know, target zone to roll your ball into. You need to reach out to those companies also. Which companies? Favorite golfer? You can't say Tiger. Oh, I can't say Tiger, but he is my favorite golfer. If I can't say Tiger, right now I would probably say Ludwig Oberg. Just love his golf swing. I love how he plays golf. He plays fast. Really, really awesome golf swing. I play with a Peretti putter, which is very expensive in Japan. Perettis are beautiful. I think they're expensive everywhere. Kaneko, what time is it in Japan, can I ask? Did you ever play any other sports? Yeah, I played baseball for a long time. I played ice hockey for a long time. And I do think having that background in other sports really helps prepare you to play golf. So I have the Tiger Woods PGA Tour Masters on the Wii, so I get to play Augusta. That's very cool. What's a Masters tournament? Oh, the Masters is a one of the most famous golf tournaments. I meant all companies you believe in for sponsorship or reviews. I've done it before for my writing/investment channel. Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea. We have done some of that, right? The products that I believe in and wanted to work with more relate to working on the full swing, right? We have the net return and the RAPSODO partnerships. Those are awesome companies to have in our corner. So check out the links in the description if you want to learn more about either the hitting net or the mobile launch monitor that we use outside. How can I fix my inside-out swing where my arms drop more and turn in too late? So you're saying your arms kind of drop and get stuck from the inside, Joe? Is that what you're saying? Kind of in like here and then you're way out to the right? What I would have you do is you can use a head cover just like this one, right? And you're going to actually put it on the inside of your golf ball. Let's say this is the ball you're going to hit on the driving range. Drop this down right here on the inside, slightly behind the golf ball. And what this is going to do is it's going to actually block that inside path. So if you drop the club too far below the plane, right, and it's really kind of behind you and stuck, your path to the ball will be blocked. So if you can learn how to hit some shots without your club hitting this head cover, that's going to force you to neutralize your club path, get it more down your target line, less way out to the right. And that should really help with the, consistency of your trajectory by neutralizing that excessive path out to the right. You're welcome, Kaneko. What is the most important part of my game? I don't know about your game, Tyler. For me, it feels like my scoring at this moment in time pretty much is predicated on how I hit the driver. If I hit the driver well and I'm in the fairway, my irons are really solid, my short game's good, and I've been making some putts. So the driver's definitely going to be an area of focus for me, but I don't know what the answer is for you, Tyler. Tom says, my favorite golfer is Tommy Fleetwood / John Young Golf. That's awesome. Unreal Dax said hi. What's up, Dax? Those are very great companies to start out with. I think so too, Moto King. And as you guys know, we're just getting started still. It's only been not even 10 months since we posted our first video on YouTube, and to be well on our way to 6,000 subscribers and have some companies working with us. We monetized the channel, some months ago. So these are all just milestones along the way. The journey is about putting in consistent effort on a daily basis and, posting content, filming content, being engaged with this process. Oh, we got a loud dog for some reason. Is that for slices? No, Tom, that's the opposite, right? If you're struggling with a slice, you would put the head cover on the other side, right? Because if you're slicing it, you're across the ball. So you want to get, if you're slicing it, want to get the path more to the right. What Joe was describing was a path that was too far out to the right, so we're trying to get that back to the left. Luke Does Stuff said hi. Hello, Luke. Nick wants to know, did I watch any of the Internet Invitational? I did watch the most recent episode, which I think was episode 3, in full, because I was getting lots of comments and questions about it. And I just kind of skimmed through the first 2 episodes. I did see there was a ton of hullabaloo about Luke Kwan missing his tee time. Talked about that a little bit the other night on the stream. Oh no, Lily is sad. Chazzy Golf is my favorite. Chazzy's awesome. Very, very good player too. That's a great job. Hopefully you are making some money already. Yeah, you know, just pocket money here and there, I would say at this point, guys, but it's all just, that's where you start, right? You don't start doing something like YouTube and then all of a sudden like, man, I'm making, 10 grand a month doing this. You start slow and you build up to it. I didn't expect to be able to monetize a channel in a year. Like, we are way, way ahead of any of the goals that I realistically had for myself in starting this. To the point where even a few months ago, if you asked me, I think this was always, still going to be like a side hustle or a hobby. And something that I really enjoy doing. But in the last couple of months, guys, because of all the growth and, the different levels of engagement and the different conversations that we've had, I think there is a real chance where in some time, in the not too distant future, right? I don't know if it'll take 2 years or 10 years, but it seems like there is a path to doing this full time and making content for a living, which for me would be a dream. Right? To be able to play more golf and continue building this community and talking about things that are important to me, like mental health and sobriety. I know that talking about these things is making a difference. I hear it from you guys every single time we do these streams and we talk about stuff. So that to me is the most rewarding part. And it really like lights my soul on fire. To know that talking about these things might be helping somebody else out there in their real life. So one thing I will say, because I've never done this before, right? I just started a YouTube channel in January and started learning how to film and make videos and edit videos. So I still am learning how to do this, and I think the next part of that is, well, what are the steps you take to monetize this thing, right? How do you make it, a thing where you can make a living? I'm still, in the first inning of learning what that looks like, or maybe like the second or third inning of learning how to make content and film and do all kinds of stuff. I don't know what people realize, but I posted over 1,000 videos on the channel now. That includes live streams, so take that with a grain of salt. But over 1,000 videos, and they've all been edited by me on my iPhone, right? So the barriers are very low. If you're like, hey, I'm interested in making content, could I do this? I just have a tripod and a phone and a microphone, and that's how I've made every single piece of content you guys have seen. I don't have fancy software. I don't have a team behind me. What you see is what you get, right? And there's obviously a trade-off with that. The quality of the videos that I can produce won't compete with the big YouTubers who have, film crews and editing teams. Hi. But that's okay, right? We're at a different part of our journey than they are. And if the time comes when that kind of investment is warranted, then that'll be just another exciting sort of milestone as we continue trying to build this thing. Colby wants to know, what kind of body exercise do you do to keep your body right for consistency? Great question, Colby. I do lots of stretching and mobility work. I really like using exercise bands like this one, right? You can work through your different ranges of motion, work on rotational stuff, which is very important for golf to make sure that our body is able to turn effectively. I do lots of hip mobility, right? So, you know, like 90-90 exercises like this, right? Where you're rotating the hips, right? We need that, you know, internal and external rotation to be able to swing a golf club effectively, right? Be cool to see you playing with them guys one day. Yeah, I think so too, Nick. I think, especially given just the quality of the golf that I saw. Obviously, you know, some of the players are unbelievable, right? Brad should be playing on tour, and George Bryan and Wesley Bryan are, you know, are professional golfers. But after like the first third, it did feel like there was a big drop off. And I have no illusions about, you know, being better than I am, right? I'm a one handicap golfer, but I do think there is a line, right, where people say, hey, the golf, the quality is like bad enough to where it's not as fun to watch. So if you can find people like me, I think, you know, who have a perspective and things to talk about and things to say, but can also play golf at a decent level, you know, I certainly would put myself in that category of candidates. Tyler says, I wish you were in the Invitational. Well, guys, go tell Barstool. Write on, you know, comment on the next one. Say, where's John Young? Let's get John Young in here. Next year, you got to hire John Young. Oh, left it short. I also think I might audition for the Big Break show. Somebody suggested I do that. I don't know what that process looks like yet, but that could be fun. I loved Big Break as a kid. How much do you get for a like, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, so it works based on views, right? So there's like a rate that's like pennies, you know, and if you get 10,000 views, you make X amount. You know, like the best short that I made in the last month maybe made like $7. But I make a lot of content, a lot of videos, so it adds up. Shane says, we're rooting for you. Tom says, keep it up. Amazing. Make sure you check out Bitcoin for long-term investing. I am familiar with crypto. My degree is in finance, and I worked in private equity for nearly a decade. Much to my chagrin now, I'm quite cynical about how I spent the first part of my career. But I'm proud of myself for making a change and using my agency for how I spend my time and being willing to make a big personal sacrifice to do something about that, right? If you have principles and you believe in things, then sometimes that requires self-sacrifice. You're helping me anyway. That's awesome, Tom. I really appreciate you saying that. Those are the kinds of comments that, like I said, really just fire me up. And like some days I don't feel like streaming or making content. You know, there's a reason why a lot of my content is about mental health stuff. That's the thing that I am constantly battling, you know, anxiety and depression. But knowing that those comments are out there and that you guys are getting some benefit from talking about these things makes it so much easier, to be honest, to just get up and say, you know, we're going to keep doing it today. We're going to put the work in. You love your choo choo choo. Colby says, thanks. I'm a big old fatty and I love golf. I feel like being out of shape plays into my inconsistent play. Well, Colby, the reality that you, like you said, you already know this is it will, right? If you aren't maintaining your body to a certain standard, you know, in terms of mobility, right? Obviously, you know, weight can play into that. And I say this because I was once there, right? If you go, you don't have to scroll that far down on the channel, you'll see a video of me where I was 230 pounds and miserable. It was affecting my golf. It was affecting my health. I used to be, you know, quite out of shape. And I'm not anymore, but I know what that's like. And I know it's frustrating to be like, man, I'm really working on my game. I feel like I'm putting the time in, but there's something else holding me back, right? It might be, you know, mobility and not being able to access the positions in your swing that you need to with regularity. But the good news, Colby, is there are steps you can take. There's things you can do. I'm happy to talk about them if you like, because I've done it myself. You know, at one point I had lost almost 80 pounds. There was a point where I got a little bit underweight even and wasn't, you know, particularly healthy, but I'm really happy with the changes I made in my lifestyle that have allowed me to do that. Thanks for being here, Tom. If you were preparing for a big tournament, how would you prepare? Great question, Tyler. I would do a lot of short game work, right? A lot of chipping and putting, a couple hours a day probably. Hey, Darts is here. Glad to hear you're in finance, so you'll be doing great. Well, not anymore, Moto King. Not anymore. I work in nonprofit now, which is amazing. You get to help people do cool things like cure cancer and stuff like that. Colby, look at his glow up video. Oh yeah, that's a good one, Tom. Unless you're John Daly, that's funny. How are you, LR Darts? I appreciate you stopping in to say hi. Let's keep rolling some putts here. I just keep blabbering. Shot a 45 through 9 yesterday. Was really happy. That's amazing. Good playing, dude. Our friend Paul, who often is in the stream chat, convinced me to check out some darts action. So I was learning about Michael Van Gerwen and some of these really highly skilled darts throwers. And that probably sounds crazy to say to somebody who like follows darts. That'd be like someone saying to me, like, "Oh, I just learned about Tiger Woods." I'd be like, welcome to the party. But as somebody who had no background in professional darts, it was cool to watch some videos and learn, and the vibes seem unbelievably good. Like you could, you know, show up to one of those events and leave with 10 new best friends. Just a bunch of dudes having a great time, getting hyped about darts. Do you have to get invited to tournaments or you just enter into one? It depends, Dre. It totally depends on the tournament. Some of them are invitation only or require you to qualify. And there are others that you can just sign up for. Oftentimes they are restricted by handicap. So, like, you know, for example, USGA events have a handicap cutoff. And that's so that, you know, you don't have guys who are going to go shoot 95 trying to play in a USAM qualifier. I'm sorry to hear that about your mom, Moto King. Colby says, I appreciate everything you produce. I specifically look out for your material. You've helped me a lot. Well, that's awesome, Colby. I appreciate you saying that. I hope your mom recovers smoothly, Moto King. Well wishes from Tom as well. My wife and I have just started a nonprofit. Very cool, Colby. What is the subject of your nonprofit, or who and what are you trying to benefit? I'm very curious. If you're talking about the PDC events in Europe, 100%. Oh, I don't know about PDC. Tell me. Oh, the darts. Yes. I didn't know about PDC. Invitationals or opens. They have one in NYC that looks like a party as well. I think that one's at Madison Square Garden is what Paul was saying on the stream the other day, which would be pretty crazy. I have some family in New York, so could be a good excuse to get down there and go check out some darts. She's getting better. Still has a port in. I appreciate your kind words. Yeah, we're all pulling for Moto King. This is, you know, that's the kind of support that I want this community to offer, right? You know, you see the same names and faces, you know, metaphorical faces, right? You see my face, I suppose. But yeah, I love that we're building this thing together and, you know, creating a space where people can say how they feel and be themselves and not have to deal with like the downside parts that a lot of corners of the internet have, right? With trolls and people who are obnoxious and sometimes even just outwardly hostile, right? Sometimes they'll wander into my stream and have negative things to say, and that doesn't last too long, right? Because number one, I have no tolerance for it, but also you guys. I mean, you guys, like, some guy was in here yesterday saying some heinous stuff, and there was immediately like 4 comments being like, no, dude, like, you got to get out of here. We're not doing that here. And that to me was even cooler than, you know, whatever response. Oh, that was terrible. Whatever response I could even give, right? Also, I'm sorry about the ads, guys. I hope it's not too annoying. But just part of this whole thing, I suppose. There we go. Back on track. Love to see it. Keep it up. Thanks so much, Tom. Hey, Nipsauce is here. 10-4. Thanks for responding. You're welcome, Dre. I think I would have shot a 37-38 if my putting was on form. Few 2 and 3 putts that shouldn't have been. Yeah, it's always so tough to put every aspect of your golf together on a certain day. In your opinion, does getting expensive clubs and the best of the best make you better? No. Nope. I don't think that. I think the opposite, in fact. I think getting fit for equipment can certainly have an incremental benefit, but damn, you know, working hard and practicing, that's always going to be a much larger determinant of success than whatever equipment you're using. And I always tell people, especially, you know, we have a lot of newer golfers or beginner golfers who are in here sometimes, and I'll tell people, you don't even need 14 clubs. You can just go to the thrift store, pick up like a driver and a putter, a wedge, and a couple irons, and you can be well on your way to going to the range, learning how to play golf and improving your skills. And you can fill in your golf bag over time. You don't have to do it all at once. You certainly don't need to spend tons of money. And there's a lot of value, I think, in buying secondhand equipment. Hey, Paul's here. We were just talking about you, Paul, talking about the darts. Darts is actually my main hobby. I moved to California in the past year. Weather's always nice. I've been exploring getting into golf as a new hobby outside of a bar. Any advice to a newcomer? Well, Cameron, we're glad to have you here. My main advice would be have fun with it, right? Golf is a hobby for 99% of us. We're not, you know, out there playing on tour, on TV, trying to win money. So make sure that you're having fun. As far as practical advice, I would tell you, you can't spend too much time learning impact. And what do I mean when I say that? I mean, there's really 3 skills, right? Face direction, so controlling where this club face is pointed. Ground contact, so, you know, are we striking the ball first and then the turf, right? In golf, you know, with an iron at least, you swing down into the ground, you hit the ball goes flying, and then you hit the grass, right? So when you see good players swing that divot, it's always going to be after the ball. We call that skill ground contact. And lastly, there's face contact, right? So are you striking the club in the center, not low or high, not on the toe or on the heel, but, you know, how consistently can you deliver the center of that club face onto the ball? That's going to optimize the launch and flight of that golf ball. So those are the 3 skills. It's really just one, though. It's called impact. And I would tell you, Cameron, you could go, you know, hit 100 golf balls at the driving range. And if I was teaching you or coaching you, I would say the 80% of them, the first 80 balls you hit, don't even need to be a full swing, right? You can just grab a short club and start practicing that skill, right, of learning how to strike the golf ball at very, very slow speed. It's going to sound boring and annoying, but if you want to actually get better and be, have fun playing golf, you have to learn how to strike the ball consistently. And I feel strongly that it is easiest to do that when you slow the swing down, right? So you could go to the range and make a bunch of big full swings and try to hit the ball super far while also improving your skills. And, over a long enough horizon, you will, but it's going to be much more difficult by doing it at full speed. So that's my 2 cents. It's the operator. Yeah. I've been looking at the Stroke Master from Well Putt. It looks like a good pick. Any thoughts? I'm not familiar with Stroke Master. Here, let me look really quick. Stroke Master. Yeah, I think this will have everything you need. I do also have those. I'm not sure where they're at exactly. The blockers, right? The Path arc trainers. Those are great. I really like the Well Stroke mat. I think it's a great tool, especially for learning mechanics, right? If you're trying to teach yourself, how do I keep this putter on that arc, right? And for me, I'm trying to keep this white line on top of the putter tracing the orange line underneath, right? So in my peripheral vision, see that one got outside. I hit the blocker I have there. But when I do it correctly, and we see that line trace the arc, that's when I hit my best putts. That face is going to return square. So it's been very beneficial for me, without a doubt. Darts is the same as golf. The ball is the dart. I love that analogy. Jair the player, any driver advice? I would tell you, with driver, depends on what your skill level is. But I would tell you that reducing your speed or your perceived speed to where you know where the ball is going to end up. And by that I mean it's still going to be a 60-yard wide dispersion, right? But you can't swing so fast that you're hitting, golf balls out of bounds all the time or topping it, right? You need to reduce the speed to where you can consistently strike the ball and have it end up somewhere in play, right? That might feel like 75% if you're swinging really hard and all over the place. Moto King said slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Exact same idea, right? You have to be able to swing, and keep the ball in play. My other piece of advice is when you're practicing driver, same thing I was just saying, don't be afraid to slow it down. Don't be afraid to slow it down and practice even at like 50% speed. Just how do I get the center of the driver onto the ball more often than not, right? And you can practice, it can be a full swing at like 50% speed. It could be, a half swing, right? But you need to develop the skill of hitting the club in the center of the face. Really appreciate the answer. Thank you. You're welcome, Cameron. You are welcome. Oh, it is nearly time to go make some dinner. We're going to be wrapping up here in about 5 minutes, guys. Can't thank you enough for supporting me, supporting the channel, all of the engagement, right? Likes, comments, shares, all that good stuff. I showed up with this crazy mustache to try to raise awareness for men's health, and you guys still showed up to the stream, which is pretty cool. My wife is ready for December to be here, I think. She's very supportive and supports the cause. But I don't think, at least for me, I'm not a mustache guy, I'm more of a beard guy. But whatever discomfort I experience, right, is incredibly minimal compared to people who suffer from things like prostate cancer or testicular cancer, or people who deal with mental health or thoughts of suicide. I've been there myself, guys. I've been in a really dark place before, and I'm not anymore. And I know these things are hard to talk about, but it's important that we talk about them because everyone knows somebody, or if they haven't experienced it themselves, some amount of anxiety or depression at various times. And that's a normal thing. That's part of being a human. And if our culture continues to pretend like you're a weirdo for having these issues, or pretending like they aren't real, then we're not going to make any progress, which is why I feel so compelled to lean in and talk about these things and say, this has been my experience. This is what it looks like. This is what it feels like. Because I know that stigma is real. And I also believe that talking about it openly and having discussions like this, or talking to your friends about how they're doing, does make a difference. It can start to change some of that stigma. And if I believe those things, well, then isn't door number 3 that I have some obligation to do that? If I think it will change things by talking about it, well, then I have to talk about it. I feel that so strongly, that the stigma that exists around these issues is so harmful. It creates conditions where people don't feel comfortable being honest about what's going on with themselves. They don't seek treatment when they might need it. I've been there myself, right? Of like, oh, that's not for me, right? Why would I go to therapy? I'm fine. I just had therapy today, guys. It was unbelievably good. It was a very well spent hour. It's not always easy, but I always learn something about myself. I always am surprised at how easy it feels and how fast the time goes by. So this is my experience, and if I can help somebody else out there by talking about it and sharing some stuff, then that's what I'm going to keep doing. I see the Goodell clown nose in the background. Yep. I have watched some of the Internet Invitational. Oh, Moto King, the tacos came out fire, dude. I made ground turkey tacos with some shredded cheese. I've got this amazing habanero hot sauce that I've been putting on everything recently. So that was great with some tacos. A little bit of Spanish rice on the side. I got some secondhand clubs and didn't realize my driver was 9.5 set up for a fader. That's awesome, LR. I'm glad you got it figured out. Still putting in his room with no job. Thanks for being here, Woke Whale. Appreciate your support. What do you think about Tacoma 101 irons? I've never hit them, but I have tried these 301 CBs from Tacoma, and they were really good. So I have no reason to believe that if the 101 is a better fit for you, then you should go with it. What do you guys think? Should I reach out to Tacoma and see if they want to sponsor the channel? I've seen they've been doing a lot of that recently on social media, sending people clubs and trying to get the word out about their brand. I have, I just bought these with my own money and tried them. I would probably go for the 201s now, just knowing that the days of my, peak ball striking might be behind me. But what do you guys think? What, if there was a brand, obviously I'm partial to TaylorMade, but I'm not exactly sure they're in the market for, micro niche YouTube creators. Maybe when we get to like 100K. But tell me what you guys think. Tyler said, glad I can join your live stream. Thanks for answering my advice. See you later. Thanks for being here, Tyler. If you guys are having a good time and you haven't already hit that subscribe button, do me a favor. Just tap it. Really does help me out. I'm a big fan of ground turkey also. LR, 100% with you. That's why I'm doing Movember 2. Men speaking up is so important. Well said, LR. I'm here with you, bro. Equipment is one thing, user is another. Totally. Reach out to any companies that you believe in. Niche YouTubers is what they need. Tell Tacoma we all buy their clubs if they sponsor you. Well said, Cammy. part of the thing that I'm self-conscious about too, guys, is, you know, we've built and continue to build a really cool community here on YouTube. But when I first started, I wasn't doing other platforms, right? So I created an Instagram account that's brand new. And it feels, you know, YouTube doesn't have a messaging feature, right? So I can't like go to TaylorMade's YouTube and, I mean, I could write a comment, right? But I can't direct message them like I can on Instagram. Some people go to my Instagram like, you have 50 followers, dude. Like, what are we talking about? So it's always like an extra step to be, you know, hey, here's my YouTube. Here's what we do with these live streams and content. But you're not wrong, Moto King. I think, you know, I should be more proactive about that kind of outreach potentially. But I also know that all these things will come when the time is right, you know. Oh, missed on the left again. Love that. That's really good bounce back. Tom Watson was a sweeper. Totally. Moto King, I just followed the new one, so I'm following the correct one now. Awesome. Yeah, I think I saw you were on there, which was super cool. I was actually, I'll be honest, Moto King, I did already look at your page and all the cool stuff that you're up to. Love to see it. Right down Broadway. Boom. Precisely, John. I'm thrilled that you're in agreement. Let's cook. Let him cook. Let him cook. Things you love to see. The ball going in the hole. I appreciate the support. I primarily use Twitter and then YouTube. There you go. I think it's challenging, right? With, you know, trying to manage different platforms, and there's different trends and vibes on each one, and I personally prefer the vibes on YouTube the most. I think some of the other platforms, you know, are a little more negative or inclined to sarcasm. Whereas my experience on YouTube has been more communal and like we're really building a community here. Boom. Whew. All right, guys. It's time to go make some dinner. But we will be back tomorrow. Check back around 3 Eastern. I'll try to get some a stream scheduled. Drop a like if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for being here. Couldn't do it without you guys. We will see you next time. 69 minutes. Very nice. And there's 67 chatters. Incredible. All right, guys. See you later.